Some people hear their own inner voices with great clearness, and they live by what they hear. Such people become crazy, or they become legend.
This is my fiancée, Susanna.
Hello.
It's Nonna.
So this is Tristan.
His spirit had the strength to hold his family together.
To us all.
But his destiny had the power to tear them apart.
This is a turning point in the history of the world.
Don't talk at me, boys, if I've never seen a war.
Help me!
Samuel!
Tristan!
Samuel chose to be a soldier, and soldiers die.
You know you can't make her happy.
Gonna try.
You will fail.
You've been nothing but trouble since you came to this house.
Did I damn everybody around me as well as myself?
I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you forever.
Brad Pitt, Anthony Hopkins, Aidan Quinn, Henry Thomas, and Julia Ormond. Legends of the Fall.
Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and forever turned out to be too long. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margot D. Hello, my friend.
My friend, I'm just completing all my Bart the Bear movies.
How many are there?
Like 10.
He's very famous.
He was super famous, R.I.P. Bear.
Aww. We are dorking out about 1994's Legends of the Fall. We've gotten many, many requests for this movie over the years, and I think people are requesting it because they really like it, so sorry.
We're going to try to be kind.
Yeah.
But we've got thoughts, y'all. We've got my ankle's bothering me. I got my foot in some ice. I got wine. And we're talking about this. So
yes.
I'm feeling salty today.
This might be a little like Margot and Sonia destroy your childhood for some people. And that's it. It's okay. We're going to get through this together. So this movie is directed by Edward Zwick. It's based on the book Legends of the Fall by Jim Harrison. I've never read the book. It stars Brad Pitt and Anthony Hopkins, Aidan Quinn, Julia Ormond. She looks beautiful in this movie.
Beautiful. Great hair.
Great hair. And Henry Thomas and Bart the Bear.
And Bart the Bear, y'all.
Please don't confuse this with the other movie that Brad Pitt did 2 years before this about brothers in Montana. That's A River Runs Through It.
There's also another movie, I think, where Anthony Quinn is with Bart the Bear. Or I'm thinking of Mr. Black, whatever.
Oh, and then there's Meet Joe Black, which
right, where he's hit by the car and it falls. That's
like
the
5
only thing
times.
we're talking about.
That one's. I think that one might be on our list too. But all right, let's get into it. Margot, did you see this in the theater?
Yes. So it came out in January of 1995, where I was.
Yes.
Maybe it had a New York, LA release.
I believe that is correct.
And then the San Ramon Crow Canyon Cinemas had theirs, and I went with a bunch of friends, and we were all fucking hot for Brad Pitt at that time. Like anything he was in, he fit that dirty boy grunge period piece.
Yeah.
Like, peanut butter and jelly. He was it. And I remember like halfway through, I turned to a friend of mine. I'm like, when is this thing over? Because we thought it was over, but I'm like, it's only been an hour. This can't be over. Oh my God, this movie.
Yeah.
So much to discuss. We have a lot to get to. Y'all just get settled.
Yes.
Get settled.
I also saw this because of the Brad Pittness of it all. Like, this is like, he's at his pittiest. Like, he's like, he's got the long hair. He's like, he's really hot. Like, you know, I remember we had like a standee at the theater I worked at for this movie, and it had like a cutout of Brad Pitt, and like my friends and we stole the Brad Pitt from it. And then like we had the Brad Pitt up at our parties, and like we were just like, I brought Brad Pitt. Like he's just so hot. It was like him and like Keanu Reeves. Like Keanu Reeves did a movie, I think around this time too. Oh shit, what's the name of that movie?
Not The Matrix.
No, it was couple of years before. It was another like period piece where I was like, he was just like beautiful and
Dracula.
No. Shit, I can't remember what it is. I'm gonna look it up right now. But I absolutely saw this. I'm gonna type in Keanu Reeves movies. I'm gonna say like 94 or 95. Let's say what comes up. Johnny Mnemonic. No. A Walk in the Clouds. That's what it is.
Never saw it.
Okay, well, he was very beautiful in it. And here's the thing. This movie is 2 hours and 13 minutes. It feels like it's 4 hours long. Like,
yeah.
I was like, watching this movie reminded me of Elaine in Seinfeld, where she sees the English Patient like over and over. And she's like, does this movie get longer? And she's like so pissed off. And here's the thing. I actually really like soapy period movies. Like we could do I did a whole episode on Last of the Mohicans, like back with the former co-host. I love Last of the Mohicans. I'll talk about that movie forever. Like, I love it. I wanted revisiting this. I wanted it to be more like that. And if this movie would just cut out like all the shit about the bear, like all the voiceover narration, like, maybe it could be that, but it's not that. It's just...
That's not the movie we're getting. And I'm not better prepared about the original material, even though I co-host a show called Book versus Movie. I could pretty much guarantee Margot and I will not cover this for that show.
Because you'd have to watch the movie again?
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. It's interminable. This movie, it's people... Okay, it looks great.
Yes.
Everyone looks great.
Yes.
And it's
almost
in Canada.
I was gonna say
we'll get to that, I guess. But where are they? Are they? They're in
Montana. They're in Montana.
No, but they're shooting it in like Manitoba,
yeah,
right? They're not.
Right. Yes, they shot it in Canada, but it's supposed to be Montana.
It's gorgeous. The sound is good. The acting.
Yeah.
For the most part, I guess it's the bear you have a problem with. I'm just kidding.
No.
Bart the Bear is amazing.
He is.
I will watch
and it has
3 hours of Bart the Bear.
Like, the score is like one of those James Horner scores. Like, you've heard it in a million previews. Like, it's got great music. There's like, I get it why people like it. I really do. And,
absolutely.
And I wanted to like it. I was like, no, I'm going to be into it. It's going to be comfortable, and I'm in. And again, I was just Elaine, like, where I kept pausing the movie, and I was like, fuck, it's got another hour? Ugh.
We were going to cover Crossroads because of Britney Spears, but for some reason that was taken off all streaming.
Yeah.
She has a lot of power, y'all. I just could say that. And so you were like, and we were going to do this like a year ago, and then I said, it was on Hulu then, and I was like, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm just an hour in, and I can't. And then you brought it up the other day, and I'm like, all right, fine. I'll do it. I'll suck it up. I'll deal with it. I have the same reaction, and I'm going to apologize now. Looksism, all kinds of things, but this is the snarky, salty part of me.
Yes, I'm here for it.
So Julie Ormond is engaged to Henry Thomas.
Yes.
Who's adorable. Everybody drink.
He's adorable.
Elliot from the E.T. movies. Like, I was like, I'm on board. I had a crush on Elliot. I'm like, I'm okay. I'm good. She shows up. Her hair is perfect. Mm-hmm. And I used to read those bodice rippers.
For sure.
Just that was like my introduction to sex, was like a lot of those
Oh my God. My mom read all of those books back in the day. They were all around my house. I read some of them, not all of them, but she was like so into that. It was a thing. Yes.
Same when Fabio was on the cover.
Yes.
And so she shows up. It's the gorgeous Montana / Manitoba scenery.
Yes.
She's in a horse carriage, and we have Anthony Hopkins, who I always love. Don't always love what he's in, but I always love him.
Yes.
And he's got his arm around her, and he's like, "You're coming home to my son. Meet his other sons."
Yes.
And then it's like, here's Bachelor 1 and Bachelor 2. And I remember my friend Jennifer, super pregnant at the time, 95, leaned over to me. Boy, she got the shit out of the stick there. Because, I'm sorry.
Well, because Henry Thomas is still like such a boy compared.
He looks like a dweeb.
Yeah.
He's so little. He's so young.
And his character's very sweet. He's very naive. Like he
just looks like his voice just broke.
Yeah, that's my fiance.
I'm sorry. Sorry about my
Yeah,
people.
so they
and it's Brad Pitt and
Yes.
Aidan Quinn at their hottest.
Totally.
I mean,
like
it's not fair. Like,
it's not fair. Henry Thomas never has a chance in this movie.
That poor bastard. No.
Yes. And so she like moves into the house. She's living there, and she starts like doing all the thing. By the way, a whole other thing in this movie, there's like a good 20 minutes of just like some voiceover narration where they're showing them as kids. They're reading letters. Their mom doesn't live there anymore because the mom's like, fuck Montana. And she like moves somewhere else. So she doesn't live there. It takes forever. It felt like forever to finally get to like the grown men.
The men immediately are salivating over her.
There's no other women in Montana, apparently.
There are. Well, but so there's native indigenous people.
Yes.
And she shows up and she's going to marry Henry Thomas. So, of course, they haven't done it yet. They're going to after they get married.
Yeah.
But then she meets a very young child who's like, I'm going to marry Tristan one day.
And she's like, that's cute.
She's like 10. And it's like, yeah, I probably said things like that when I was 10. It was like Sean Cassidy. Of course I was going to marry
say
him.
That.
My
I would
husband,
say that.
Sean, you've met him.
Yes.
But so that's already set up. But then she and Brad Pitt exchange smoldering glances that could melt wax. I mean, and then Aidan Quinn is looking at her like, oh.
I love you. Like, he's like instantly like in love with her. He can like barely hide his boner for her. Like,
right. He's walking around with this like notebook. And
you totally just like, I have to go, Susanna. Something suddenly came up.
He's like leaning into his locker. And school, like,
oh, can't. They're both like Brad Pitt. At least Brad Pitt kind of plays it cooler, but Alfred doesn't play it cool at all. Like,
no, but Brad Pitt also is like, here's my long blonde locks.
Yes.
Here's me on a horse. Here's me like building stuff. Here's me like talking with the indigenous people here. I can speak their language.
Yes.
Everyone has the hots for me because it's 1995. Who wouldn't want to fuck Brad Pitt?
Seriously. I mean it's
right?
true. It's true even today.
It's true. Yes.
Even today.
But it's not fair to the audience because poor Henry Thomas like never has a chance.
Yes.
It's not like a baby Leonardo DiCaprio that we're looking at.
Yeah.
We can see like, yeah. I love Henry Thomas, by the way.
Yes.
I think he's amazing.
Yeah, he's really good at playing the part he's playing here. Like he's again very sweet, very naive, like he's a good person. Like he wants to enlist and like fight in World War I because he super cares. He wants to be on the right side. He speaks German. He wants to be on the right side of history. And then Tristan and Alfred like sign up too because they want to protect their little brother that they love so much. And I will say, like, the World War I stuff is fucked up.
It's very well done. And it's there's the Civil War. Speaking, from America's point of view, we had the Civil War, which was a huge bloody war in America, World War I introduced mustard gas and this kind of chemical warfare, which then had to be outlawed by the UN because it's awful what those men went through.
Yes.
And they brought back the flu on top of everything. Like it's a horrible, horrible time from 100 years ago, which is not that long if you look at all of history.
Correct.
And I think that they handle that very, very well. I mean, they're extraordinarily lucky. Like they're all in the same group.
Yeah, they got lucky that way.
Yeah.
Not so lucky is Samuel. God, I totally blanked on his name. He dies in the most like gruesome way. Like it's
awful. He gets blinded. Yes,
it is.
He's
so
stuck
awful.
in the barbed wire.
Yes.
And his two brother, like his one brother, Trista, he's like, oh, I gotta go to the guy and translate something. He's like, all right, see you later.
Yeah.
He comes back, and then his brother's like, are you fucking kidding me? You gotta watch, right, Max?
Max is like, I'm so upset.
So he goes and watches his brother die, basically.
It's
which
so
is
awful. And then
awful.
He then cuts out his own brother's heart, like you do.
Oh, I forgot that part.
Like you do. And like sends it back to the house with like Alfred, who's also been wounded. So it's fucking gruesome, man. It's gruesome. I don't know if that was the thing back in the day to like cut out hearts.
Can you imagine Amex like handling that shit? No. Tom Hanks is like, no, thank you.
Just leave my package on the porch.
Somebody's got to sign.
Someone's got to sign for this heart. It's
dry ice is melting here.
So awful. So then Alfred. Okay, I have so many thoughts here. So Alfred is wounded. He goes home. By the way, Tristan went on a full-on like Anakin Skywalker killing all the sand people murderous rampage and like went in to like the German like trenches and scalped like a bunch of German soldiers, and everyone's like, what the fuck? So they discharge him too because they're like, you're a Sith. So they get rid of him. So anyway, Alfred goes home with the heart in a box like you do, and they bury it, and Susanna's at Samuel's grave, and you know she's so sad about it, and Alfred's like, well, if you're not busy, maybe you'd like to
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, you're saying maybe you'd like some of this, and she's like, no thanks. And then Tristan rides in, and then he is also like goes to like Samuel's grave, and he's like, eh? And she's like, yeah, buddy. Like she gets in on it. And both times I'm like, you brothers shouldn't be making your move at the brother's grave. It seems wrong. Like not a good place to put the moves on your dead brother's like fiance.
At least take her out for a drink or something.
Yes.
I mean, it's like, no, they're doing it right next to his headstone. They're
it's
like,
really
one of them gets
gross.
one reaction,
yes,
and then the other gets the other reaction, where we get 90s love scenes, which I think are coming back in style, but it's like a lot of loving shots with hair.
90s love scenes are coming back in style.
I've been seeing that lately. It was on the morning show with Jennifer Aniston and John Hamm. I'm like, oh, that's what this is. This is like an old-fashioned 90s love scene.
Yes, there's, we see like her boobs, maybe his butt. I don't remember. Lots of good lighting, multiple positions, very cinematic.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And
they both miss Samuel. Don't you get it,
They
Sonia?
miss Samuel so much.
They
take
gotta
it.
Bone it out.
They gotta bone it out. And then like the next day, I guess Alfred's probably at the door like the whole time with like a glass up to the door, like listening like a fucking perv. And immediately, like the next day, is like, Tristan, you will marry her. And he's like, I guess, maybe, I don't know if she'll like have me or whatever. And Alfred's so pissed that he's like, I'm leaving. Like, I'm moving to the capital city, and I'm going to pray for the spirit to forgive Tristan. And I was like, forgive him for what, my dude? for doing what you wanted to do, which was fuck her at your brother's grave. Like, it was such an asshole.
It's where the woman is chattel. She's just someone for people to want and make their own with no effort.
Yes.
But I get it. Look, the brother died. They did serve in World War I. She's living at the house for free, I guess.
Yes.
We forgot to mention the Anthony Hopkins of it all.
Yes.
Which is, this is the hammiest Hopkins we get.
For sure.
Oof.
For sure.
He is over the top.
Yeah, no, I wrote in my notes at one point, like, how everybody was beautiful. I'm like, Aidan Quinn is beautiful. Brad Pitt is beautiful. Julia Ormond is beautiful. And Anthony Hopkins is there. Like, it's like
This is like a couple of years after Silence of the Lambs. Like, he's a big deal.
Yeah, he is. They've got an Oscar-winning like actor here, and they want to make full use of it. But there is like there's this whole thing about like Anthony Hopkins' character didn't want them to go fight in the war because he knows how fucked up war is, and he's like, fuck the state and fuck this country, and
he's a libertarian.
He's a libertarian. He's probably like,
I don't need a post office. Fuck you.
I'm like a socially liberal, fiscally economic. Look, I'm just listening to Joe Rogan because I want to hear opinions.
I just want both sides of the conversation. That's all.
Yes, that character.
I do my own research.
Yes. Anthony Hopkins' character 100% does his own research. I'm doing my own research.
And he absolutely has favorites and least favorites. And it's not like my mom where like, I love you all. You're just different. Like, this guy is like, nope.
He's like,
this is my favorite.
Yeah, he's like clearly like, because again, casting Brad Pitt was a choice. Like, everybody wants to fuck Tristan in this movie. Everyone. Like, every dude wants to fuck Tristan, or they want to be Tristan. Like, I get it. And Alfred doesn't stand a chance. He doesn't stand a chance.
And it's Aidan Quinn, y'all.
Yeah, he's very handsome, and like,
that's my type.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know that the movie is holding up Alfred as like the good, responsible brother, and Tristan's the like bad boy brother. And look, we all have a Tristan in our past. Like, but I also think Alfred is kind of a prick.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's something I've learned, Sonia.
Yes.
And there's a podcast, and I'll look it up in a sec, but it's all about blind items. And there's a whole trend about, I don't know if you've heard of this. You may already know this. I never learned this until today. I'm today years old when I learned about the kill the cheerleader motif.
I don't know.
Which is,
describe this to me.
It's toxic men who, when they were in high school, couldn't get laid, had no game, and then they get some game when they're older, and they just want to fuck over hot women. Because you didn't like me when I was a pimply-faced teenager, so I'm going to be mean to you now. So it's about getting the hot chick, but not really appreciating who she is as a human being.
Got it.
Hey, it's good old boy Mike.
This is good old boy Dave.
From Sips, Suds, and Smokes. Sips, Suds, and Smokes covers wine, tea, coffee, distilled spirits, whiskey, scotch, beer, cigars.
People whose first name starts with Q.
Bad fake British accents.
And we always take time to make fun of the people of Alabama.
Banned once again.
It's a 1-hour episode that's mildly entertaining for about 22 minutes.
I think mildly would be a vast improvement.
Well, we do have the only beer show with the Holy Man. We talk about these products and rate them with our unique rating system, like our Suds 5 rating. Do you really have something better to do with your life for an hour than actually listen to this show?
Well, don't make them think about it.
Well, join us on this radio station, podcast network, or via our Android app.
See, I'm thinking of Alfred is one of those like guys who pretends they're a nice guy, but they're really a prick.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like, oh, I'm not somebody that's just out for myself. I'm out for other people. I'm more, whatever, egalitarian, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But still, like, I want what I want.
Yes.
And I'm hot too. And why don't you like me?
Yes. So, Susanna and Tristan are together for a while. And look, Tristan's clearly like fucked up. He's got post-traumatic stress from the war. Like, things remind him of how his brother died, and he is not okay with it. Like, he's not in a good space, but they don't call it that then. And he's super guilty that Samuel died. He's feeling guilty that he's hooking up with his, fiance, and he feels responsible for Alfred leaving, even though, Alfred's a grown man who made his own decisions. But so he leaves Montana. He's like, peace out, Susanna. Like, see you in a little while. And she vows to wait. She's like, I'm going to wait forever. And he's like, oh, okay, well, good luck with that. So he takes off and he's like doing all the things that, like, I don't know. He's just like being all beautiful and perfect. I'm fucking driving a ship now. And then I'm like hunting wild animals in Africa and like, sleeping with whoever. And then he's not writing her he's not writing her at all. And it's like the most dramatic ghosting ever, basically. And
right.
Girl, if he leaves for another country and he barely writes, and then when he does, he tells you to marry someone else, he's probably not that into you.
Yeah, he's just not into you.
Yeah. And again, we've all had a Tristan, and I get it. We all think, well, I'll just love him more, and that'll make him love me, and I'll make other bad decisions in my 20s. And here comes Alfred, like, well, since Tristan's not coming back, ta-da, like, why don't you marry me? And she does. So I wrote in here, I'll wait for you forever, or at least until your other brother proposes.
Because my 20s won't last forever.
Exactly. And then we get like more voiceover, and like I wrote this down because I thought it was so, like, I was just like, oh, groaning. Like, I think it was the bear growling inside him, making him do bad things. Nothing that Tristan did was ever truly his own fault. It was the bear. Take some responsibility, Tristan.
Yeah, that's.
Don't blame Bart the bear for that shit.
Bart the bear is a treasure. He gave us years of entertainment.
Yes.
I mean, bears terrify me. I saw a grizzly man, and that was enough for me.
Oh, no. I saw it too. You can't reason with them.
You can't, but if you show me a picture of a bear in a hammock, I will be delighted by it.
Obviously.
Or a bear in a pool. Bears in a backyard pool. Oh my God, is there anything cuter?
So cute. Or you see like bears getting on people's trampolines in their backyards. Come on. Look, we're not made of stone.
No, exactly.
Look, the bears are adorable, and then there's the bear on FX, and that one's hot. That bear is hot. So she marries Alfred now, and Alfred's like, he's like, I'm a senator now, and it's whatever. And then Tristan rolls back into town, and everyone's like, shit, Christian's back. Or Tristan, sorry, I don't know why I keep calling him Christian. Tristan's back, and everyone like starts fucking losing their shit because they're so happy he's back, including little tiny Isabel, who's now a grown woman. And
beautiful, by the way.
Beautiful. And like, she makes it pretty, she's like, and he's into her. And that actually seems like a real match. Like,
oh, absolutely.
It was never going to work with Susanna. Like, that's not the kind of person Tristan is. And
he's fly by the seat of his pants, Sonia. He needs someone that can roll with him.
Yes.
She's got it.
Yeah, there's a whole thing where he goes to see Susanna after he gets back. And like, she's, at some point he sent like a bracelet back, and she's like, here, take this bracelet. I don't want it anymore. And I was like, you're still wearing it. Like, you're literally married to his brother, and you're still wearing a bracelet he sent you, and now you don't want it. I'm like, whatever. Susanna. She's so dramatic.
Drama queen.
And then after that visit is when she learns he's going to marry Isabel. And just understatement, she's not okay with it.
She's crying and brushing her hair at the same time. Like,
yeah.
Great.
I'm so happy for them. I'm sure they'll be super happy together. And I have to use the restroom. Runs off, and then
they don't have kids.
No, and they never have kids. I don't know if they couldn't, or
they don't try enough,
or maybe she still
meaning they don't bone.
Yeah, or maybe
I don't mean like I don't want to put judgment on people who are trying to have kids.
Yeah,
it's like,
well, and it could be she's
doing it at all.
Maybe she's not sleeping with them at all.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, like they're just
a headache.
Yeah, she's had a headache every night for 15 years.
Jesus Christ, what a desperate life.
Yeah, it is no good. And then there's this really awkward run-in with Brad Pitt looks so happy. He's with his new family, and he's got his little boy, his son is named Samuel, of course, on his shoulders, and he's with his beautiful wife and their daughter, and they're all so happy, and they run into Susanna, and she's like, so happy for your lovely family. It's so awkward. I just wish the movie had really leaned into how soapy it wants to be, but instead it tries to pretend that it's better than that. And I'm like, you're not better than that. Just be soapy.
Yeah, it could have used it's almost like a TV movie quality, but a TV movie would have done those beats better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They kind of would have leaned in more. I'm just kind of why are you married to this person you obviously don't love? You're educated. I think you came from some money.
Yeah.
Just leave. Just go someplace else. Tristan and you are not going to work out. I get it. It's Brad Pitt at his hottest.
Yes.
That's a lot to give up. But just move to Chicago or New York or something.
Yeah.
And start over. What is she into besides Tristan?
Nothing. Nothing.
She has no interest, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, and there's a whole other thing where Tristan's running booze because prohibition's happening. The timelines of this movie are also super weird. I'm what year is it? I don't even know anymore. But he's running booze, and he crosses some gangstas in Montana, and they at some point they stop his car with their crooked police officers, and they shoot their guns up in the air, and a bullet kills Isabel, and it's so fucked up.
It's messed up, and that actually really shocked me. I didn't see that coming.
I totally had forgotten about that. And it was really, and it's super fucking sad. He really loved her, and they have 2 little babies together, and obviously Tristan,
her mother's there. She witnesses it.
It's awful. And Tristan loses his shit and beats up a cop. And then they're well, you're going to have to go to jail for beating up that cop. Again, I was this makes no sense to me. So then Tristan's in jail, and here comes Susanna and was she says to him I still sometimes dream that I'm the mother of your children. Well, that's a pretty fucked up thing to say. Someone whose wife and mother of his children just died. What the fuck is wrong with you? And she's trying to put the moves on him through the jail, the cell. And he's no thanks. And well, there's just no dealing with her after that. She
shot her shot.
Literally.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Sorry. Bad joke. Yeah. So she sees no other way out, and then she dies by suicide, which is just another. It's just get divorced or just separate.
Yeah, I guess it.
Where did you come from? Whence you came? Where did you come from? Woman, go back.
It never makes it very clear to me why. I understand she super loves Tristan, that part, I guess, but I guess it didn't. I don't know. I guess I needed more to understand how much she had really fallen apart.
Where was she from
Yeah.
What did she leave behind? How come nobody visits her? How come does she write to anybody? Does she, I mean, and it's okay to say no, like maybe she's an orphan or something, but at least give me that.
Yeah, and we cut out all the bear stuff and we could have got a little bit more Susanna backstory. But after she dies, then Alfred, because fucking Alfred is so passive aggressive, he's like, writes Tristan a letter and he's like, you have won her. I am bringing her home. Like, it's his fault now that Susanna killed herself, that she died by suicide. Sorry. It's just such a shitty thing to say. I'm like, fucking Alfred. I just wrote in my notes, fucking Alfred.
Like, what part, by the way, does Anthony Hopkins have a stroke? Because that's a whole thing in this movie that we're not. I get it. I don't want to make fun of it.
No.
But it is lampoonish how they do his whole character arc, which is he becomes someone who's so strong and verbally aggressive and abusive and triangulates and does all like the narcissistic things like he does. And then he can't speak. So they give him a chalkboard and he's just like, fuck off. Or what does he say? Screw you.
Yeah. Or he's like, screw him.
I mean,
it's
so dumb.
Yeah. I don't like it.
No, I mean, and by the way, if this were a TV movie, it would be interspersed with commercials and bathroom breaks. So you'd be like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
When you're sitting there in a movie theater, and trust me, it's like, oh my God, how long is this movie? Like, what is going on?
So that's the thing. Like, Susanna, does what she does. And then there's the, like, you won her. I'm bringing her home. And Alfred, like, brings her body back to the ranch and they bury her there. And then there's just this whole other thing about like these like evil brothers and corrupt cops and all this. And it shows up and there's like a whole like standoff. And I was like, what is happening right now? So I didn't even care anymore at that point. And then we get more voiceover narration that explains that like we buried the bodies and we dumped the car. And I was just so bored at that point. Like,
by that point, and then Brad Pitt is like, so they killed some people, spoilers, and he's running off, and he's in the woods, and now it's just him and Bart the bear, and then it's a very 90s how they do that quick action, kind of, because the cinematography up until then is beautiful, but then you have him wrestling Bart the bear. Sorry.
By the way, Bear kicks his ass.
Oh, of course. But we can't watch Brad Pitt get his ass kicked because that's not okay. Right. It's like Grizzly Man.
Yeah.
Don't even listen. It's like a Werner Herzog. Like, don't even listen to this.
I would not listen, by the way. No.
No. Are you kidding? I don't need more nightmare fuel.
No, thank you.
But it's his, and they're like, it's his double or it's Bart the Bear's trainers. I'm like, yeah, no shit. That's not Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
But and that's kind of it.
Yeah, and then it ends on like a freeze frame, and then it's like, and I will always love you. No, I'm kidding. But then it like, and the narration's like, it was a good death, and it's like he fights a bear. The end. I'm like, what?
It's not a good death. He's ripped apart.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
it's.
And I know, again, like, people love this movie, and I'm curious, like, have they watched it recently?
Believe me, I like a lot of silly things.
I know.
That wouldn't hold
me too.
up. But this one is just way too many bridges too far. You're just way too many plot points. There's so many unanswered questions. That's just, they handle it with, look at Brad, though. Yeah. He's stroking his hair right now. He's wearing a hat. Mm-hmm. He's looking at her. She's looking at him. I'm like, all right,
and Alfred's there.
If this movie were like an hour and 45 minutes, it'd be kind of perfect. Because then it would just, but the fact that this is like way over 2 hours is, I still get that, like, this movie is too long and I don't care.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. I bet a lot of the people who love it and again, it has its fans. They probably watched it on TNT, which means it was probably 3 hours long.
With commercials.
Yeah. I'm like, damn, that's dedication. Like, no, I in my head, there's a version of this movie that cuts off like the beginning and the end and removes the voiceover narration. And you've got like a perfect soapy, like period piece movie that I would probably love the shit out of and would own and have on on my DVD shelf next to Last of the Mohicans. But
do you have Last of the Mohicans on your shelf?
I don't, but I should because I really love Last of the Mohicans. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to put it in my cart. But not this one.
Nope.
No. So I really wanted to like it. I really did. I did not go in thinking I would hate it. I was like, no, I'm going to defend it. Like, it's going to work for me this time. It didn't.
But I actually have to say, at some point I was laughing out loud. So it was fun.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it was so silly. I was like, oh, come on.
Yep.
And then I was yelling, bear, bear. Just more Bart the bear, please.
Yes. This movie was nominated for some Academy Awards, and I thought maybe you'd like to hear what it was.
Screenplay?
No. Surprisingly, no.
Sorry.
It was nominated, I get, for 3 awards, and it won for 1 of them. And I thought maybe you'd like to hear some of the other movies. Well, I'd run down those categories for you.
Please.
Okay. So it was nominated for Best Cinematography. It won, which makes sense to me until that like end stuff with the bear, but whatever. Again, beautiful looking movie.
Gorgeous.
Yes, but then you hear some of the other nominees and you're like, So also nominated Wyatt Earp, which is another one that I think actually looks really good. 3 Colors, Red. Do you remember that movie?
They're French, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember liking that one too. The Shawshank Redemption.
Great movie. Perfect movie.
So good. Probably that's the one that probably should have won. And then Forrest Gump.
I like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
I know everyone loves to shit on Forrest Gump. No. I find it very watchable.
You and I have never done an episode on Forrest Gump, but we probably should because I am also a Forrest Gump defender. I think
I'll defend it with you.
I think people who shit on it are lying to themselves.
Or they're just cynical assholes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It was also nominated for art direction. So it did not win. So Legends of the Fall is there. Interview with a Vampire.
An equally silly movie, by the way, I think.
Yes. And also has a beautiful Brad Pitt.
Yep.
Forrest Gump.
Yep.
Bullets Over Broadway.
That movie looks great.
Yeah.
That's a great, honestly, yeah, Woody Allen aside.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
Yeah. Diane Wiest is so good in it.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And then the winner was The Madness of King George.
Overrated.
And then it was also nominated for Best Sound, which it did not win. Boom!
Bear.
And it also nominated The Shawshank Redemption. Again.
Great sound.
Such a great movie. Forrest Gump. Yep. Clear and Present Danger.
Good movie.
I like that movie very much. I like the old Jack Ryan movies.
Same.
What was the well, there's The Hunt for Red October, Clear and Present Danger. What was the Patriot Games? Yeah, I like those. And then the winner was Speed.
Good movie.
Fucking love Speed. We did a whole episode on Speed. I love Speed. So those are all the Oscar nominations it got.
Do you want to hear about the top 10 songs that happened on this day of our Lord, January? Let me bring it up. January 14th, 1995.
Yeah.
I'm counting it that was a national release.
Yes.
I don't know some of these. You're going to have to help me.
Okay.
Number 10, I do know this. Boys to Men, I'll Make Love to You.
Oh, you couldn't get away from that song. It was everywhere.
Slow jam. Number 9, I don't know this one. 69 Boys, Tootsie Roll.
Let me see that Tootsie Roll.
Oh, okay, there you go. Okay. Number 8, one of my favorite Madonna songs, Take a Bow.
That's a good song.
Great song. Number 7, Blackstreet, Before I Let You Go.
Oh, that's a good one.
Number 6, Brandy, I Want to Be Down. Fucking jam.
I love Brandy. Love Brandy's songs.
Number 5, I love this one. Inna Kamosi, Here Comes the Hot Stepper.
Word up.
Number 4, Bon Jovi, Always. I don't like his ballads.
Me neither.
Number 3, don't know this one. Real McCoy, Another Night.
Another day, another night. It does. Okay. They definitely played at a club.
Okay. Number 2, one of my favorite TLC songs, Creep.
Oh, it's the fucking dopest. Love that song.
At number 1, Boys to Men again, On Bended Knee, y'all.
Oh my God. They had all the ballads. The ballads. What else are you dorking out about, my friend?
Well, I've been checking out the BravoCon hashtag because I do love me, my housewives.
Yeah.
So I've been dorking out about that. I've missed Salt Lake City. They did have Salt Lake City back. It's their best one. Mary is a huge asshole.
She's an asshole.
Such a weirdo. She meets somebody for dinner and says, I might just leave. And then leaves, but then demands that they take her food. And then they bring her a box. She's like, no, put it in the box. She's like, I'm going to leave now. It's like 2 minutes. Just leave. She's such an idiot. But anyway, that's mostly, I mean, there's also Netflix, Sunset.
Selling Sunset. Oh my God. This season I'm not done with the season. But I made a pretty good dent.
Yeah, same.
The show is it's so ridiculous. Like what the stuff they wear, first of all, I'm like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm going to sell a house. And they're like,
you could tell, by the way, also, sorry, but who's pregnant and who wasn't pregnant.
Yeah.
It's very, very simple to see. Like,
yes,
because we've had a couple of them are like, I'm going to pop on Monday. I'm like, what? They're like 100 pounds.
Yes.
Like soaking wet. Yeah.
It's just,
it's bananas.
It's so much drama. It's like, if any woman, because by the way, they work together, right? The idea is that they quote unquote work together at this real estate company, and then they also like hang out together and whatever. And the minute any of them sets any kind of boundary, everyone loses their fucking shit on the show. Like, they're not allowed to set any boundaries. Everyone's like, how dare you? You must be here every fucking second and not have a life outside of this. It's ridiculous. But again, so fucking watchable.
And then The Gilded Age is back on HBO. I've been watching that. It's the second season. I think it's going to be the last season because I feel like they're rushing the story along, which is not my favorite thing. But those are the things I'm dorking out about.
I've also mainly been watching Selling Sunset because it's fucking addicting and so much drama. I also wanted to recommend, I watched the movie Fingernails on Apple.
Oh.
And it stars, I'm going to look it up, Jessie Buckley, Jeremy Allen White from The Bear, and Riz Ahmed, who I love. And it's, I don't know if it's set in any kind of future, but it has this, the idea is that there is a test people can take where they test your fingernails to find out if like you're a match, like a real love match, like a soul match, I guess. And so it's this like new world where you can now get this test to find out basically if your relationship is really going to work or not. And Jessie Buckley and the Bear are boyfriend and girlfriend. They've taken the test and they are positive, like they're a match. She gets a job working for the like Love Institute, I think it's called. And she's partnered with Riz Ahmed, who, you know, has supposedly, I'm not going to spoil anything, he has a partner as well. And they basically start to develop feelings for each other. So then it's like, how accurate are these tests, basically? And I don't want to ruin anything more, so I'm not going to say anything else. But the performances in it are really, really good. And it has a lot to say about relationships and love and what we want out of our relationships. And I don't know. again, I feel like if I say anything more, I'll spoil it, but it's really, really good. Everyone in it is really good. I recommend it. And streaming, if you already have Apple Plus, you could just watch it. It's free.
Excellent.
So, highly recommend. I think that's plenty. That's plenty for this, what we're dorking out about. My friend, can you tell people where they can find you on the internet?
You can find me at Brooklyn Margot for Twitter, for Blue Sky, and for TikTok. And I'm at Brooklyn Fit Chick for Instagram, Threads, and that's my site. And where can they find you? So, do you want to tell them about our other show?
Yeah, if you like the sound of our voices, we also co-host a podcast called What a Creep, where we talk about creeps of the past and the present. Our episode out right now is about TMZ. Fuck TMZ. Yeah. So we had thoughts and feelings about that. You could definitely listen and enjoy that one. If you want to find me, you can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, all the places. Dorking Out is also on Blue Sky now. So you could follow us there if you want, or you can follow us on Twitter if you want. But I'll be honest, I'm trying to phase it out of my life because Twitter's a dumpster fire. But also we're at dorkingoutshow.com and wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you want to give us a review, that would be fabulous. A good review, please. If you made it this far, I'm going to assume that maybe you like us. You could leave us a good review. That would be awesome. My friend, I am glad that we finally talked about Legends of the Fall. It was long. It was a long time coming. It was a